Some artists don't just make music. They shape an entire generation. And when we talk about the sound of 90s R&B, there is one name that will always stand out. Brandy. Before the Grammys, before the awards, before the iconic duets, before the acting roles, there was just a young girl with a voice that felt mature, emotional, and unforgettable. And what made Brandy different was that she didn't need it to be anybody else but herself. She was simply the bomb. Her voice did all the work for her. This is the story of how Brandy became one of the most important voices in R&B history, and how it all began. Brandy Norwood was born in Macomb, Mississippi, and raised in Carson, California. And from the beginning, it was clear that music was in her blood. She didn't grow up in a world where music was just a hobby. It was part of her environment, her family background, and her upbringing, and her natural talent all played a role in shaping the artist we would come to know. And what's important to remember is Brandy didn't enter the industry as a grown woman. She entered as a young girl, trying to find her voice, her image, and her place in the world. Even as a teenager, Brandy's voice carried something rare. It wasn't just that she could sing, it was her tone, the control, the softness, the emotion. She sounded like someone who had already lived through something. And that's what made people stop and listen. Her voice was just so smooth. And those runs that she gives like no one else, her harmonies, it was a feeling. And in the early 90s, that kind of voice stood out. By the early 1990s, Brandy was already gaining attention. And like many young girls, she entered the industry at a time when the music world was competitive, especially for young Black women. But she has something special. She was fresh, talented, relatable, but still carried herself as a mature artist that made her feel like the future of R&B was about to change forever. The industry was searching for the next big star, and Brandy was becoming the answer. And then came the song that introduced her to the world, I Wanna Be Down. This record wasn't just a hit, it was a moment. It was so fresh. It was sweet, but not weak. And it had that classic 90s R&B vibe that made people instantly fall in love with the track. The song quickly climbed the charts, and it proved that Brandy wasn't just another R&B singer. She was a serious artist. And what's even crazier, this was only the beginning. Now we can talk about early Brandy without talking about the look, because Brandy didn't just bring vocals. She brought an era, the braids, the soft glam, the natural beauty. She became an icon for young girls everywhere. And those braids wasn't just a hairstyle, they became a signature. Brandy helped define what 90s beauty looked like. She made it cool to be youthful, natural, and confident. And a young black lady. And even today, people still associate that hairstyle with Brandy's legacy. Because she didn't follow trends, she created them. After the success of I Want to Be Down, Brandy released her debut album titled Brandy in 1994. And this album was a statement. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't messy, it wasn't a one-hit wonder project. It was polished, it was mature, it was so smooth. And for someone so young, the album showed real artistry. This was real R&B. What made Brandy stand out during this time was her sound. She wasn't trying to be grown, but she also wasn't being marketed as a cartoon. She felt authentic. Her voice was calm, controlled, and emotional, and that became her lane. Brandy was building her own identity in an industry that often tried to force young women into boxes, especially black women. But Brandy's presence was different. She didn't have to scream for attention. People learned in to hear her. And while her music career was taking off, something else was happening at the same time. Brandy was becoming a household name. Not just because she could sing, but because she had star quality. The kind of star quality you can't teach. The camera loved her. The public loved her. And her fan base was growing fast. But as beautiful as this rise looked, there was also pressure. Because imagine being a teenager with fame, attention, and expectations, and the entire world watching you grow up in real time. The music industry is not a gentle place. And for young girls, it can be even harder. Brandy was entering spaces where most people around her were older, more experienced, and sometimes not always looking out for her best interests. And even though she appeared calm and polished, the pressure behind the scenes was real. And the crazy part is, Brandy was still at the beginning of her journey. She was already laying the foundation for something bigger because she wasn't just becoming famous. She was becoming influential. Artists were paying attention to her voice. Producers was learning her sound, and the industry started realizing she wasn't just a moment, she was the future. And this is what makes Brandy's story so powerful, because she didn't peak early and disappear. She kept rising, she kept evolving, and soon she would enter one of the biggest eras of her career, where the music became more even iconic. The image became stronger, and the world started calling her something that still follows her today: the vocal Bible. So this was part 1 of our Brandy Mini Series, the beginning of her rise, and the moment the world first saw her and seeing what she was capable of. But in part 2, we're going deeper. We're talking about how Brandy's career, even more, and how she became a cultural icon and how her voice started shaping the sound of R&B itself. So if you're enjoying the series, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2. Because Brandy's story is only getting started. Some artists rise slowly, and then there are artists who explode. By the late 1990s, Brandy was no longer just a promising young singer. She was becoming a cultural force. Her voice was everywhere. Her face was everywhere. Her name was everywhere. And this was the era that would change everything. In 1998, Brandy released her second studio album, Never Say Never. And this album didn't just perform well, it dominated. It showed growth, it showed maturity, and it showed elevation. Brandy wasn't just a teenager, newcomer anymore. She was stepping into her power. Released in 1998, debuted strong on the Billboard 200, multi-platinum, over 5 million in the US, marked more mature sound. And then here comes the moment where The Boy Is Mine, a debut, a duet with Monica that became one of the most biggest songs of the decade. It spent 13 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And 13 weeks, that wasn't just a hit. That was history. Not to mention, the song won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo Group and massive radio dominance. Cultural debate between Team Brandy versus Team Monica. In 1997, Brandy became the first Black Cinderella in a major television adaptation. And this moment wasn't just entertainment. It was also representation. It was history. It was powerful. While dominating music, Brandy was still leading one of the most popular sitcoms of the era. Moesha wasn't just a TV show, it was cultural, and Brandy was balancing both worlds. 6 seasons, teen icon status, brand worldwide. Brandy had her own African American Black Barbie dolls as well. And that was something that was very epic and huge. Being young and being Black and being a woman in a competitive industry, Brandy was no longer just rising. She was becoming expectations. It was during this era that something else started happening. Artists began studying her craft. Producers began praising her, and the industry started calling her something that would follow her for decades. Now, in this moment, the vocal Bible. You know, Brandy is known for her runs, her harmonies, her riffs, her powerful singing voice. She does it all. from singing, from acting, the movies, everything. So in part 3, we will discuss that no career stays at the top without challenges. We will explore what happens when fame, pressure, and personal life begins to collide. Not every rise stays smooth. After dominating the late 90s with chart-topping hits and cultural moments, Brandy entered a new chapter. And this chapter wasn't just about music. It was about growth, pressure, and expectations, and becoming a woman in an industry that never slows down. After the massive success of Never Say Never, the pressure increased. When you create an album that defines an era or a time, the next move becomes even harder. Because now, the question isn't, can she make it? It's, can she do it again? In 2002, Brandy released Full Moon, and this album showed elevation. The production was darker, more futuristic, more experienced. It was also produced by many producers. Rodney Jenkins was one of the producers. She wasn't repeating the past. She was stepping forward. The album debuted top 3 Billboard 200, featured What About Us, marked a sonic shift. In the early 2000s were definitely changing. R&B was shifting, pop was evolving, competition was rising, and staying relevant required even more reinventing yourself as an artist. Brandy was no longer a teenager. She was growing in front of everybody's eyes. Every decision, every relationship, and every appearance was watched. You don't need details, just tone. Fame looked glamorous from the outside, but inside it can be isolation. And Brandy has spoken openly about navigating confidence, identity, and self-worth during this time. Because growing up in front of the world, this wasn't a fall. It was a transition. And sometimes transitions are misunderstood. And this era showed resilience. It showed growth. It showed elevation. In part 4, we'll explore motherhood, maturity, and how Brandy rebuilt her narrative in a changing industry, because her story doesn't stop at the turning point. It continues. Success doesn't always protect you from pressure. After dominating the late 90s and evolving through the Full Moon era, Brandy entered one of the most personal chapters of her life. As a woman, not just as an artist. And sometimes growth doesn't look like chart-topping hits. Sometimes it looks like survival. In the early 2000s, Brandy stepped into a new role, motherhood role. And for a young woman, she has had to grow up in the spotlight before everybody's eyes. This transition was both beautiful but also complicated. The public had watched her as a teenager and a young lady. Now they were also watching her as a mother. And the scrutiny only got worse and intense. As her personal life evolved, so did the headlines. And navigating fame while raising a child isn't simple, especially in an industry that rarely offers grace. The pressure to maintain an image, to stay relevant, to stay strong, to have this good girl image was very heavy for Brandy during this time. She didn't want to let her fans down. I honestly believe she thought that she was doing everyone a great deal by just telling what she wanted us to hear. She chose everyone, fans' feelings over her own. In 2004, Brandy released the next album, Afrodisiac, an album many fans consider one of her most artistry works. The sound was futuristic, more experimental, more mature. It didn't trace trends. It defined mood. And even though it may not have reached the commercial heights of Never Say Never, but it was respected. Afrodisiac showed that Brandy was no longer just a pop R&B star. She was an artist evolving on her own terms. Who Was She to You was produced by Timbaland. And it was a great R&B record from this album. Talk About Our Love was also on this album featuring Kanye West, produced by Kanye West. And Afrodisiac, I love that song. I love that music video. It was probably one of the least popular songs, but I love the harmonies in that record. And it gets an A+ for me. So just because an album or a song doesn't make major success, Billboard success, it still could be a good record, depending on what your mood is. Before and even after the turbulence, Brandy later came Human, an album that felt more vulnerable, more stripped down. It reflected a woman who had lived through public highs and private lows. The tone was more softer, but the message was strength. By this point, Brandy had experienced superstardom, motherhood, scrutiny, reinventing herself, and yet her voice remained. In part 5, we will discuss Brandy, the actress. See you guys in the next video. Thank you. Before Moesha, before Cinderella, and before Broadway, Brandy was already on television. At just 14 years old, she made her first appearance on a sitcom called Thea. And that's where the acting journey truly began. In 1993, Brandy appeared on a sitcom Thea starring comedian Thea. In 1996 through 2001, Brandy starred as Moesha. Moesha wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural staple. Brandy starred as Moesha Mitchell at just 17 years old, a teenager girl navigating family, school, love, and identity. And for 5 seasons, millions of viewers tuned in weekly. It was the UPN era. Representation of Black middle-class family, her natural screen presence, her growing up on the screen in front of our eyes. Moesha proved Brandy wasn't just marketable, she was believable. In 1997, Brandy starred in a movie called Cinderella. And this wasn't just casting, it was history. Whitney Houston was also in the film with a lot of multicultural casting, cultural impact, still referenced today. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. In 1998, she stepped into horror film, and she held her own. This wasn't sitcom acting. This was tension, survival. It was a different film that we were used to seeing her as, and she succeeded. In 1999, she played in the film called Double Platinum. The movie with Diana Ross. Brandy starred aside with her, a mother-daughter drama that mirrored themes of fame, ambition, and complicated family relationships. And holding her own right along with Diana Ross. That's called range. Also, Brandy dabbled into Broadway, called Chicago. Roxy Hart was her character name. This is where the industry had to respect her. Broadway is unforgiving. No auto-tune, no second takes. And Brandy stepped into the role of Roxy Hart in Chicago. Live vocals, live stage, and the critics noticed. This shows discipline and professionalism. Other TV sitcoms that Brandy was a part of was The Game and Star. She returned to television in The Game and later appeared in Star, not as the young little girl anymore, but as a seasoned performer. And just to name some, she did So We Ever After, Queens. She showed range and long lasting career. She also starred in Temptations, a Tyler Perry movie, 2013. She joined the Tyler Perry universe in Temptation, showing maturity, showing evolving, no longer in the teenage star, but as a grown woman on screen. You guys may ask why her acting career matters. Brandy wasn't chasing acting to stay relevant. She built a great career for herself. and very few R&B artists have successfully done both television and music at that level. Let that just sink in. Brandy didn't just act because she needed another paycheck. She acted because she had range, from Thea to Moesha to Broadway. She proved she was much more than just a voice. She was a performer. She entered our homes as Moesha. She gave little girls a Cinderella that looked like them. She stepped into film, horror, drama, and Broadway. And yet, her voice never stopped leading. In part 6, we will discuss and talk about her legacy. Thank you guys. See you in the next video. Some artists peak, some disappear, and some build careers that last for decades. By the time Brandy reached this chapter of her life, she wasn't chasing moments anymore. She was building legacy. And the story didn't stop. In 2012, Brandy released her 6th studio album, 211. And the album named after her birthday, which is the very same day that superstar Whitney Houston passed away. And Brandy was very devastated by her passing. This project felt intentional, confident, contemporary, but still unmistakable Brandy. Songs that was released was Put It Down featuring Chris Brown and Wildest Dreams. Then came B7, her 7th studio album, released independently, on her own terms, and that mattered. Because this wasn't Brandy trying to fit into the industry. She was Brandy creating freely. The maturity in her tone, vocal layering, still present. Themes of healing, growth, and reflection. B7 wasn't about chasing radio. It was about reclaiming identity. Christmas with Brandy in 2023. Years later, Brandy stepped into a space many legendary vocalists eventually enter, a Christmas album. Christmas with Brandy showcased warmth, control, and maturity. It wasn't about trends. It was all about tone, about her voice, the legacy tone in her voice. Then came a full circle moment. The Boy Is Mine tour. A celebration of one of the most iconic duets in R&B history. Cultural impact of The Boy Is Mine, one of the best-selling female duets ever. Grammy win for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group. The song wasn't just a hit, it became part of music history. Torn with Monica. Reunion energy. Fans were living the era of The Boy Is Mine. This is something that the world needed to see. 2 Black women coming together and reuniting while making bread together. Also, guys, this is huge news. Brandy and Monica have been announced they will be headlining the Essence Festival in 2026 on Saturday, July the 4th. Make sure you guys go on Essence profile on Instagram and get those tickets. I know they're going to be going out really fast, but this is so good. And again, the legacy continues for Brandy and Monica. Here are some of Brandy achievements throughout her career. She's a Grammy Award winner, has won Billboard Music Awards, American Music Awards, NAACP Image Awards, over 40 million records sold worldwide. Let's take a moment for that. And even today, her legacy continues to expand, from releasing new work like her upcoming book Phases on March the 29th to receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on March the 30th. These moments reflect a career that's still being recognized and celebrated. And this summer, she continues to connect with fans as she takes the stage to the Roots Picnic performance. And in 2026, she was honored with the prestigious Black Music Icon Award at the 4th Annual Recording Academy Honors, presented by the Recording Academy, Black Music's collective during Grammy Week in Los Angeles. The award recognized her 30-year career, her vocal influence, and her lasting impact on R&B. This was all about her hardships, her hard work, her putting in the work, her legacy. Brandy influence has influenced the whole world, the whole R&B world, period. She made a huge impact. And it's all documented success on her career. Brandy's career spans over 3 decades. Did you guys hear that? 3 decades. Very few artists can say that. Even fewer can say they remained respected while doing what they do. You know, Brandy continued touring, television appearances, independent releases, influence on modern R&B. She started as a teenage star on Thea. She became Moesha. She became Cinderella. She became the vocal Bible. She became a mother. She then became a survivor. She became independent. And through every chapter, she remained Brandy. And that is legacy. Some songs don't just introduce an artist. They introduce an era. And when it comes to 90s R&B, one of the most iconic debut moments ever belongs to Brandy. Because this week's song of the week is I Wanna Be Down. I Wanna Be Down was released in 1994, and this was Brandy's official breakout moment. At the time, she was still a teenager, but she already had a voice that sounded mature, smooth, and timeless. She didn't come in trying to sound like anybody else. Brandy sounded like Brandy, and that's why people fell in love with her so fast. Now, before we even talk about the success of this song, we have to talk about the look. Because this era right here, Brandy's braids becoming iconic. When people think of young Brandy in the 90s, they think of the braids, the beads, the beauty, and the confidence. She didn't just sing, she had a whole image. And Brandy was a style icon before the world even knew how to label it. Those braids became a signature. They became a trend. And they helped define what 90s R&B culture looked like. And what made I Want to Be Down special was how relatable it was. It wasn't about being flashy or trying too hard. It was about loyalty, friendship, and love. That feeling of saying, no matter what you're going through, I'm still here. Her voice made it sound soft, but very powerful. Calm confidence in her tone. That became like her signature. And the song didn't just become a fan favorite. It became a real hit. I Want to Be Down reached number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it also hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart. That is super huge, especially for a debut single. This wasn't just a cute teen song. This was Brandy announcing herself as a real R&B star. And that success of this song helped launch her debut album, Brandy, which went on to become a major success. This single helped set the tone for her whole career because she wasn't being marketed as a trend. She was being introduced as the next voice of R&B, and she definitely delivered. Now let's be real. This song became one of those records that people still play today. It's in a cookout playlist. It's in a throwback playlist. It's in a 90s R&B playlist as well. And the reason why is because it still sounds good. It still feels warm. And it still feels like the 90s. But it doesn't sound outdated. And if you know Brandy, you know the remix is legendary too. Because the remix featured Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Yo-Yo, which was a powerful moment. It wasn't just Brandy being a new artist. It was Brandy being stamped by legends. That remix showed that she wasn't just for living in the moment. She was respected across the culture. Talk about influence. And what makes this song so special is that it reminds people of a simpler time, a time when R&B felt innocent, but still had soul. And Brandy's voice, it had the softness, but it also had control. It was like she was born to do this. And when you look back at it now, it's crazy because this was only the beginning. Because after I Want to Be Down, Brandy didn't just become a music star. She became a whole generation's favorite music, acting, fashion, legacy. She was building something big. So this week's Song of the Week goes to Brandy classic debut hit, I Want to Be Down. A song that didn't just chart, it introduced one of the most important voices in R&B history. And the braids alone deserve their own documentary. Real talk. If you enjoyed this tribute, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what is your favorite Brandy song. Because we are now officially stepping into the Brandy era. Thank you. Some songs don't just become hits. They become memories. And in 1998, Brandy released a ballad that proved she wasn't just dominating R&B. She was also dominating pop too. This is Have You Ever. Released as a part of her Never Say Never era album, Have You Ever showcased the softer, emotional side of Brandy, while The Boy Is Mine was bold and dramatic. This song was vulnerable, and that contrast mattered. Have You Ever went all the way to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became one of the biggest solo hits, and it proved something very important. Brandy didn't need a duet to top the charts. She could carry this song all on her own. What made this song powerful wasn't big vocal tracks. It was control, smooth, the softness, the breathness, the way she built emotion without screaming. Brandy's voice feels like conversational, like she's talking directly to you. This was the moment where Brandy showed range. She wasn't just a 90s teen star. She was involving. And songs like this helped build the reputation that she would later earn her the title, the Vocal Bible. So if you haven't listened to Have You Ever in a while, please go back and hear it. Because this wasn't just a hit, it was proof. And as we continue the Brandy series, this era only gets deeper. I want to welcome everybody back to the Live Life Right Network. Have You Ever is the song of the week. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye. In 1998, two young women changed R&B forever. And what started as a duet became one of the most iconic records of the 90s. The Boy Is Mine. Released in 1998, lead single from Never Say Never, produced by Darkchild, inspired by The Girl Is Mine by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. This wasn't just a collaboration, it was a moment. chart impact, #1 on Billboard Hot 100 for 13 weeks. One of the biggest, longest running #1s of the decade. Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by Duo or Group. Sold millions worldwide. This record didn't just chart, it dominated. There was so much conversation talk about Team Brandy versus Team Monica. Debates, the MTV video drama, the vocal contrast, Brandy smooth tone versus Monica power. This wasn't beef, it was Brandon. Why this still matters? Because this is blueprint for female duet storytelling, harmonies, and vocal layering. Still sampled, referenced, and replayed today. The Boy Is Mine wasn't just a hit, it was a whole era. Even after all of these years, people still ask the same question. Who were you rooting for? That indeed is how you know that this song is legendary. And that's why this song of the week, has simply been chosen because of how powerful this record is. And how two R&B artists came together at a young age and made it happen. Thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. By 2002, Brandy wasn't a teenage star from the 90s anymore. She wasn't just a girl from I Wanna Be Down. She wasn't just one half of The Boy Is Mine. She was involving. And with one record, she made that very clear. This is What About Us. The moment in 2002, Brandy released What About Us as the lead single from her third studio album, Full Moon. And from the very first beat, you could tell something was different. The production was more sharper, futuristic. This wasn't quite 90s Brandy. This was a whole new era for her in music. The track was produced by Rodney Darkchild Jenkins, who had already helped shape the sound of Never Say Never, but this time they pushed it farther. They layered vocals, the tight harmonies, the rhythm switches. Brandy wasn't just singing, she was just stacking her voice like an instrument. And that became her signature. What About Us became a top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and performed strongly internationally. But more than chart numbers, the song was just pure growth. It showed that Brandy wasn't stuck in the past. She was stepping into the 2000s on her own terms. The music video matched the sound. Edgy, performance-driven, confident. Gone were softer 90s visuals. This was polished, grown, intentional. Also, this was a music video while Brandy showed a different side, a different hairstyle. She was not rocking the braids. What About Us is important because it marked a transition. It proved Brandy could evolve without losing her identity. Her tone was still there. Her control was still there. But the confidence had sharpened. This wasn't just another single. It was a statement. Brandy wasn't trying to relieve her past success. She was building her future. And that's why What About Us still feels powerful today. If you enjoyed this Song of the Week, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know, do you prefer Never Say Never album or Full Moon? What you guys think, let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much. Bye. Not every iconic Brandy record was built for the radio. Some were built for evolution. And in 2004, when Brandy released Afrodisiac, the sound shifted completely. This wasn't just a teenage star anymore. This was confidence. This was, experimental. This was growth. When Brandy teamed up with Timbaland for Afrodisiac record, it marked a new sonic direction. The production was minimum but futuristic. The drums felt sharp. The space in the beat was intentional. Timbaland didn't crowd her voice. He created room for it. And that's what makes the record so hypnotic. What makes Afrodisiac special isn't loud vocals. It's layering, it's texture, it's resilient. Listen closely and you hear stacked harmonies waving through the beat. Whispers, timeless runs, controlled emotion. This is Brandy at her most intentional self. Her early hits, it became one of the most respected records in her catalog. And it's a most fan favorite. This record is I love this song so much. I can listen to it all day. Sometimes impact isn't measured by numbers. It's measured by influence. And that's what this record brings. Influence. You know, people sing the start of when the song comes on. And then they do the dance to how she comes in the beginning. And then she ends with that same harmony. You guys know what I'm talking about. This era felt just so different. It was free. It was mature. It was growth. Brandy wasn't trying to recreate I Want to Be Down. She was evolving. And you could see it in her stage presence. The video was, I loved the outfits. I loved the dancing. I loved everything about the song, the music video. and everything. And for me, Afrodisiac wasn't just a song, it was a reminder that growth doesn't always look commercial. Sometimes it looks creative. Sometimes it looks bold. And sometimes it could sound like this. This is the song of the week for Brandy, number 5, Afrodisiac, part of our Brandy music series, supporting everything about the artist Brandy. And if you really know the catalog, you know this era hit different. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please drop a comment below how you feel about this song. This song, like I said before, is like amazing. I love the harmonies. I love her vocals in this song. I love the dance moves. I love the water and everything in the music video. I feel like this is one of the underrated songs in video, but like I said, the fans know this song. So let me know if you really like this video. Meet me in the comment section and let's speak about it. And stay tuned for more Song of the Weeks for Brandy Mini Series. And Album of a Lifetime will be coming soon after the mini series. Stay tuned for that also. Until next time, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Thank you very much. By 2002, Brandy wasn't introducing herself anymore. She already proven she could sing. She had already proven she could dominate charts. Now, she was stepping into her grown woman era. And when Full Moon dropped, the energy shifted. This was about Brandy taking control of her career, her image, her artistry. Produced by Rodney Darkchild Jenkins. Full Moon blended futuristic R&B with electric elements that felt ahead of its time. The music was crisp. The beat was smooth. The production felt spacious. Intentional. Nothing was crowded. Everything had room to breathe. And in that space, that's where Brandy shines. What makes Full Moon so powerful isn't loud singing. It's resilient. Brandy isn't overpowering the track. She floated on it. Her harmonies are stacked, as always. Her runs are suitable. Her tone is calm, but commanding. This vocal was more confidence. She didn't need to prove anything anymore. She already knew who she was. Full Moon was a commercial success. It reached the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and performed strongly internationally. It proved that Brandy could evolve sonically and still connect with mainstream. Matter of fact, not hype. The visual era, the Full Moon music video reflected that growth. Nighttime city lights, soft glam, confidence without trying too hard. This era felt sleek, mature, and intentional. Full moon represents growth. It's the sound of someone who understands their power and doesn't need to announce it. It's smooth, it's confident, it's growth. This is the song of the week. And if you know Brandy's catalog, you know this era hits different. Full mini series episodes are live. More deep cuts on the way. Guys, we're getting started. Look out for Brandy's album of lifetimes individually to cover each album. Song of the weeks will be supporting those films. Thank you guys for allowing me to do storytelling and covering artists that deserve their flowers, especially artists that is still living with us here today. Let's show them all the love. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye. Some songs don't need big production or dramatic moments to leave an impact. Sometimes all it takes is honesty. And one of the most emotional songs from Brandy from the Never Say Never album is Almost Doesn't Count. Released during one of the biggest eras of her career, the song showed a completely different side of Brandy. More vulnerable, reflective, and deeply expressive. Appeared on Brandy's 1998 album Never Say Never, a project that helped establish her as one of the most defining voices of late 90s R&B. A project that helped establish her as one of the defining voices of late 90s R&B. While the album included massive hits like The Boy's Mine and Have You Ever, the song stood out for a very different reason. It wasn't about competition or drama. It was about emotionally honesty. The lyrics tell the story of someone in a relationship that almost works, but not quite. The love is there, the effort is there, but in the end, almost just isn't enough. And that message resonates with a lot of listeners, because sometimes the hardest truth to accept is realizing that something close to perfect still isn't right. One thing that makes the song so powerful is Brandy's vocal delivery. Her tone is soft, controlled, and emotional. She doesn't oversing the record. Instead, she lets the emotion carry the performance. This kind of vocal approach is part of the reason Brandy eventually earned the nickname the Vocal Bible. Her harmonies, the vocal layering, creating a style that many artists would later try to imitate. Over the years, Almost Doesn't Count has remained a fan favorite from the Never Say Never album. It's the kind of song people return to when they want to hear real story time and R&B. No gimmicks. Just honest emotion and powerful vocals. So while Never Say Never gave us some of the biggest hits of the late 90s, songs like Almost Doesn't Count remind us why the album still holds up today. This has been the Song of the Week. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More from Brandy era is coming soon. Thank you guys. Some songs capture the confidence of our entire era. And one of the most upbeat records from Brandy's Never Say Never album is Top of the World. The song released during the late 90s, Top of the World brought a completely different energy to the album. While songs like Have You Ever showed emotional, vulnerability, this track celebrated success and confidence. It featured rapper Mace and blended R&B with hip-hop, which was a huge part of the sound dominating the charts at the time. At this point of her career, Brandy was experiencing massive success. The album was dominating the charts, and songs like The Boy Is Mine becoming cultural moments. Top of the World captured the feeling of being on top, both musically and culturally. Even on an upbeat record like this, Brandy's vocal layering stands out. Her harmonies, tone, and control help define her signature sound. The same sound that later earned her the nickname, the Vocal Bible. This has been the Song of the Week, and if you're revisiting the Never Say Never era, Top of the World is definitely one of the songs that helped define that moment. I'd like to take this time out to thank you guys for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you. Sometimes the biggest songs on an album aren't always the ones released as singles. And one of the most beloved fan favorites from Brandy Never Say Never album is Angel in Disguise. Angel in Disguise became a standout track for many fans of the album. Even though it wasn't one of the main singles, listeners connected deeply with the song's message and emotional delivery. The song tells the story of discovering that someone you trusted may not be who they seem to be. It's a powerful reflection on relationships, deception, and emotional growth. Vocally, this track is a perfect example of Brandy's unique style. Her layered harmonies, smooth tone, subtle vocal control gives the song depth and emotion. This kind of vocal arrangement helped influence a whole generation of R&B artists. So while Never Say Never produced massive hits, songs like Angel in Disguise reminded us why this album remains a fan favorite years later. And personally, I really wish that this was, well, they did play this song on the radio, but I wish there was a music video to Angel in Disguise, because this is a perfect, beautiful, well-produced record. And as I was saying, they played this a lot on the radio, back then. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comment section. Please like, share, and tell me how you feel about how much you really enjoyed Angel in Disguise. Thank you guys.